government of Zimbabwe has announced an initial payment of $3 million for white farmers whose properties were taken under a controversial initiative over 20 years ago. This is the first payment under the 2020 compensation agreement, where Zimbabwe promised to pay a total of $3.5 billion for the confiscated farmland. The payment covers the first 378 farms out of 740 approved for compensation and is 1% of the overall $311 million allocated for the initial payments. In 2000, then President Robert Mugabe supported land invasions by government forces and vigilante groups, resulting in economic problems and strained relations with Western nations, attracting global criticism. President Emerson Mnangagwa, who took over after Mugabe's coup in 2017, is trying to restore ties with Western countries.
Hello, my people. As you can see in that short video clip, that the Zimbabwean government want to pay reparation or compensation to the white farmers in that country. And you know, I support if somebody have an injustice against the person, I suppose you know, the person to get reparation or compensation. Any group, you know what I mean. And you can see that they didn't make excuse for not paying this money to these white farmers. They didn't say, look, oh, this is not our. This is done 20 years ago. Our forefathers did this, and we can't start paying money for what our forefathers did. Like what's the furnished excuses some of these Western countries says for not paying reparation to the Africans or the Caribbeans, all this injustice they have experienced at the hands of the Western power or powers. And the excuse we keep getting is that, look, we don't have money to do. Some will say we don't have money to do that. You know, the country is going to be bankrupt if we pay. And you know, this is what our forefathers did. We can't be paying for what our forefathers did. You see, but the Zimbabweans, they are not saying that. They didn't furnish this excuse. They want to pay, like, and they're going to pay for $3 billion to these people. You know what I mean? And they didn't say that Zimbabwe is poor, they can't afford it. No. They discovered that what they did when challenging the court and the law is unjust. And they didn't hesitate to do that. You see, they are setting example on how Africa is always setting example on morals, you know, on how to do justice. This is Africa for you. You know, Zimbabwe is a poor country, but they're gonna pay these people because they took their properties like illegal. You know, the government did it during Mugabe time. Mugabe is not here with us anymore, but the current government still want to do that. And they still want to do that because they discovered this is injustice. But those Western countries that have injustice against Africans or the Caribbeans or Black Americans, you know, they don't want to pay any reparation to them. They keep furnishing excuses and saying like, look, this is not what this is what our forefathers did. How can we be paying for what our forefathers did? But you see, the Zimbabwe didn't do that. And another point I want to make is that the Zimbabwean government didn't say, look, let us go and build schools for these people instead of giving them cash. You know, they didn't say, let us go and give them aid, not the cash, you know, or to compensate them in other ways. No, they give them cash because they know that these people will not take any other stuff except cash. But the Western world want the Africans or the Caribbeans, or that they want them to take aids or stuff, any build school, you know, and health sector everywhere, and for them to consider it as a reparation or compensation for wrong. This is not how to do reparation or compensation. Give the person the cash, the person will do whatever he wants to do with it. You see, when the government of Zimbabwe pay these people this cash, they will go and do whatever they want to do with the cash. If they want to buy the land back, they can do that. easily. But when it comes to giving black people or Africans this reparation, they don't want to talk about money cash. They want to give you aid where it's gonna end in their hands back. You know what I mean? But you see, Zimbabweans, they are doing the right thing, which I'm happy that they're doing. I'm not against it, but when we see excuses after excuses not to pay compensation for the injustice in the past, and we say this is double standard. This Africa is always, being in favor of doing the right thing more than any other group any other group in the world, in my own opinion. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our video. Peace.